be discussing the traditional marketing communication as well as the digital one, okay? If you guys have any questions, please share your experience and expertise. All right, so if you look at the background of e-marketing, the e-marketing characteristics has actually evolved so much over the years from just a simple email like Hotmail, Yahoo, Internet Explorer, and where people used to just start paying for websites. Now it has completely revolutionized. Okay, we have so many types of e-marketing, and it's important to see how companies have actually changed over the time. There have been so many best and popular marketing campaigns, and you guys are aware of email marketing.
Yeah, we always received a lot of email.
Yes, there was a time where we just used simple Hotmail and we were just happy with Hotmail. And then we have Gmail, and then we have so many other kinds of email. There was AOL, and so many other types, and Yahoo and all that. And then now, I mean, we never thought that someone is going to advertise or send us an email about their product. But then if you see the Gmail, the changes in Gmail, first you had all the emails just structured in one way, right? Now we have it in separate columns. They even have a separate column for promotion. So whatever you subscribe, whatever you are trying to connect with, the marketing star or the newbie, it doesn't matter. You're just going to get campaigns. So far, over the years, some of the best campaigns have been like Starbucks, Airbnb, Aesop, Uber, when they first started. And we have seen that sometimes some companies, their email campaign is very simple, but it just gets people's attention. And through that, they just get to the point through their newsletters. Sometimes the text is very simple, very brief, and the subscribers, they like it. Sometimes you also receive a lot of promotions from companies, and many of the users, they don't like it. But if you keep it simple and short, and if you have like a GIF, you guys know what GIFs are? GIF. So if you have a GIF, then sometimes it's animated, so people kind of like it. It's eye catching. Okay. Anything that you guys want to share about digital marketing, please feel free to. What are you using these days?
Hi, Bhavna. This is Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
Yes, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet
Um,
you too. Okay.
Actually, I work at a TV station. So
Mm-hmm.
what we do is we produce programs, and what we look for the sponsors to sponsor our
Mm-hmm.
programs. That's how we generate money from TV stations. So
Right.
normally we email all our products, all our program details, and its rates to these I mean potential sponsors that we think of.
Right.
So what we do is really different from the other, I think, other businesses. So sometimes
Mm-hmm.
I hesitate to talk about the financial line, I mean about the revenue in the emails. So it's
Mm-hmm.
quite challenging for me to get through with, I mean, the process through email. I
Mm-hmm.
rather would have a face-to-face meeting or have a call on phone to discuss about that. So
Okay.
I would like to have your view on this. I mean, what's the best way? I mean, it will be obviously different from other businesses, right?
Hmm. Yes, definitely. Because, when you have digital marketing, it's like a swipe. So basically, either you can just delete it, you can hear from it. But the question is, if you want to have to grow traffic organically, or even like update your ROI, it would be difficult to just do everything on email. the concept of just meeting them face to face and discussing and adding value to the customers is important because they will understand more about what they're supposed to do. So if you're pitching an idea for the television, they somehow understand like what you're trying to pitch with them. How is it going to go about? What
Yes.
are the investments? How many percent? And also, you when it comes to this, you will have a typical percent that they are paying, and of course you have the add-on, which is their profit margin they're going to make. So sometimes you have that, sometimes you have depending on leads, right? Depending on how much leads you make. And for television it would be usually they have this monitor, they have this coding system. I don't know if you guys have that there, where you can check that how many users are actually using it or seeing the television program, and then based on their clicks and the leads you can actually monitor. So if there's about like 80%, 98% they are actually online, that means you can actually, the TRP will rise. There are some demand for that. But
All
usually,
right.
yeah, but usually it's face to face for things like that. But if you are doing it online, then you will have to make it simple and short. So a simple ad would just optimize the message, and then automatically it will collect the person's information. But you also have the cookie system, right? So whoever's online,
Hmm.
you have to accept cookies. You guys are aware what cookies are?
Yeah, normally that comes out of
Yeah.
every website
Yeah.
nowadays. Yeah.
So what are cookies? Cookies are always cookie. It basically means that they are just taking your personal information and you allow them to notify you things. Yeah.
Hmm.
Did that help you in any way?
Okay. Yeah, yeah, of course. Because I was thinking how we can do e-communicate.
Hmm.
I mean, e-marketing communication through a television company. So maybe let's see.
It's also like this, right? Depending on what kind of television company is this. If it is a popular television company, then if the company is advertising it or selling anything to do with e-marketing, then it either they're going to
Mm-hmm.
have business branding, pay-per-click advertising, content marketing,
Mm-hmm.
or like you have website design. And nowadays, even the television companies, they are very much associated with social media. So when you're using social media, it can also go per click, and they will have their own every purpose of the television, depending on what they want to advertise. Their application will be different. However, they will use different ways to improve the business. What they are actually showing offline in television and what they're showing online would be relatively different. So that's why the search engines, what they do is they need to use specific word system so that they can get the higher rank of visibility. And yeah,
Mm. My television company is actually entertainment, so we bring all the entertainment programs, reality shows, and so on
okay.
programs, things
So
like that. Yeah.
very, very good. So the thing is that now you have, okay, so you have sports and entertainment marketing. Their strategies are very, very different. So let's put it this way, you have a television, but is it like now the television, is it like digital television also, or it is just a common channel? Because you even have channels that have gone digital, and so it can go through a buffering system, so people can even watch their shows online. And let's say Netflix, for example, whenever anything comes, how do you think they advertise? Or through Facebook, they are always having constant, like, um, a streamline of whether it's YouTube, whether it's a channel, whether it is through a website, something that is very common that gets people's attention.
Yeah, we are actually a television station, so we are not
Mm-hmm.
digital. But normally all our programs will go online on Facebook, in
Mm-hmm.
Twitter.
Yes. Yeah, usually Twitter works. You have even Facebook, you have Instagram. Instagram is getting very popular also.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have the local websites. May I know which country you're residing now?
Maldives.
Maldives. So they must be having their own Maldivian local websites as well, right?
Yes.
So that's why, sometimes even from the local ones, you can even use that as your content base for utilizing certain entertainment packages, depending on how you are, depending on the traffic, how many people, and also depends on what kind of entertainment it is, right? Because if it's a Maldivian or if it's international, then the keyword system and the purpose of creating those ads will be different.
Mm.
So is it usually local or is it what?
It's usually local, but we also cover international. So
Okay,
normally around 70-80% will be local.
okay, okay. Yeah, because now when it comes to entertainment marketing, you have web marketing, you have online marketing, and then you have the digital, where it's just on YouTube, it's on, it's just everywhere. And you know how YouTube has changed over time. The online presence, where you can even skip the ad, or sometimes you're forcefully for that at least
Yes.
5 seconds, 10 seconds, you have to see it. So that's like a push advertising or push strategy towards a you're either selling the service or either you're just showing what's new and what's coming up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're using entertainment, sometimes even a very short, like 5 to 7 seconds, I think what happens is psychologically, when it comes to human beings, it is proven, research has proven that the first 5 seconds or the first 3 seconds, what you see is what you grasp. So if you are supposed to see an ad for the first 5 seconds, you can still have the patience, you can still retain some information. But if something goes on for a minute and you just have to sit there and wait, then that could actually
Mm-hmm.
make you feel the discomfort.
Yes, yes, I understand.
Yeah. Oh, and of course, you have blog marketing and forums. So it depends. Or entertainment, you can create something that can become viral. So there's always viral marketing. And nowadays, viral marketing is becoming very, very popular. So it can be like short video clips, ebooks, depending on the software. If you are creating a special app just for that, then there are a lot of brands, or there are a lot of companies, or even entertainment like series, music, they are actually coming up just for that specific part. They're coming up with an app to make it user
Mm-hmm.
friendly. And of course, what usually works now also is gamification. Have you heard of gamification?
Not yet.
So gamification is when you create a game. So you have like an online game, and
Mm-hmm.
based on that particular thing. So for example, let's say, how many of you know Tomb Raider? Have you guys heard of that?
Yep.
What? Repeat that.
Sorry, not Tomb Raider, Tomb Raider, the one of
Yeah,
Angelina, yeah,
Tomb
Angelina
Raider.
Jolie, with the Lara Croft. What was it? It was
Yeah.
a game, right? So nowadays
Yeah.
you have a lot of games that are becoming movies. Similarly, there are a lot of movies that are actually coming up with games. I mean, think about Pokemon Go. You guys heard about Pokemon Go?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So Pokemon Go is an app and it was a popular game. What happened to it? Why it did not work?
Actually, it does work. It doesn't just.
As
It's not.
popular.
It does not cater. Yeah, it's not as popular as like everybody
Yes.
or more universal, but it does cater to fans of the series.
It's
Uh,
hmm
yeah.
When it started, it was so popular, um, and everybody wanted to play the Pokemon Go. My students were finding the Pokemon on my face. It was just the way it was until it reached a level where it started causing accidents, right? So those things also, so that's why now the demand for that has become a little lower. I'm not saying they don't play it, of course they play, but it's just that the way it was before, it's not like that. So usually you have movies or you have the entertainment that they have created certain games for that. Let's not forget Game of Thrones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anybody watch Game of Thrones?
Yep. Yep.
Okay.
Yes.
So, what was your take on that? For example, did you like it or you did not like it at all? Did you like
No,
the way they advertised it?
I think for the most part it is effective.
Mm-hmm.
But when you go through the Game of Thrones series,
Mm-hmm.
it is very good up until when they cut short the finale.
I think everyone is so upset with the finale.
Yeah, but you kind of, instead of making it linger, because that's kind of, you've already invested, from a viewer's point of view, you already invested your time and your
Mm.
interest in that series. From
Mm-hmm.
the producer's point of view, that could have been a jump off point to another series that they can produce, but
Mm-hmm.
they kind of failed into the finale, where that could have been the perfect jump off advertising point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
uh
but everyone is still waiting for the writer to write the book. He hasn't finished the last one, so everyone is just
yeah,
like, okay, they want to know what's gonna happen next.
yeah, because that's it works both ways. What it,
Mm-hmm.
for the fans of GOT, the TV
Mm-hmm.
series, kind of, the season finale was a big letdown. And now,
Mm-hmm.
some of them were saying that, I probably will not watch anything from that, from the producers anymore, because that was a big letdown. But I would still be looking for the book, because I felt let down.
Hmm. I'm sure when everything starts working and when the things come back, I think it's just that momentary, like that just that moment where you just feel let down, but then you kind of get over it. And when something new comes out, you're like, oh my God, I'm so curious, curiosity and temptation. So when you're affiliated with that kind of marketing strategy, you just want to go online and you want to see, okay, so what now? You know?
Yeah, but I guess I am coming from making the most out of the series when it was still at the highest peak of its popularity.
Mm, definitely. So what is popular today? What are people watching today? Like when it comes to you, you mentioned about one second, Lisa, you mentioned about international entertainment. So the thing is that from the TV station at your end for international, what is popular right now?
For international, we normally bring international songs because we don't get that much of broadcasting rights to those contents, and those are very expensive. And
Right.
right now on international platform, we are getting ready to bring English Premier League, the football,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because we have both rights for that one as broadcasting rights. So
Yes.
right now, internationally and locally, it is the biggest one that we are working on. So because we do have a huge fan base in the Maldives for
Mm-hmm.
EPL.
Okay. Yeah, you have to get the rights. It has a process, right? And then once everything is done and you have the rights, that's when the social media marketing starts because you know that there are so many people. It could be like thousands and thousands, and they would want to see what is being shown. Then you have the sponsors, then you have merchandise, depending on that. So, do you have the merchandise system when you have some kind of event like this?
Yeah, we do have. Normally, we outsource all our marketing activities to. There are marketing advertisement companies here in local.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
normally outsource for them regarding these kinds of huge projects because
Mm-hmm.
we don't have that much of capacity inside the station.
Hmm.
So right now we are having a grand prize for a promotion which generates revenue from it because we will conduct an SMS round through all the
Mm-hmm.
locals, and we are giving them grand prizes
Hmm.
at the end of the season. So everybody is now talking about it because everybody wants these gifts.
Yes, that's actually a very good way to advertise because getting freebies and being in contest is very motivating and challenging for everyone. So even though you know that you're investing, it's like a lotto, right? People spend so much on a lottery ticket. But even though they know that the high probability will be low, still they do that. They because of that oomph, because of that curiosity, because of that adrenaline rush, because you just never know you might be the one. So I think
Yeah.
when it comes to something like this, first you have the rush for the game, then you have the rush for the contest, and then you have all these promises that the social marketing is telling the audience that okay, if you do this, this is what you're going to get. So it kind of motivates them to be part of it. So this is also part of like social media marketing and viral marketing. So this comes under also text marketing. So you have like the promotions where you can go through video clips, text messages, right? And then you have analogs, and
Yeah.
then so the question is, we are talking about digital advertising and all that, but how do you manage a virus? Has there ever been like, okay, during this process, there has been a hack or there is a computer virus, and that may have affected the internet or the network or the message that you want to share?
No, for in my experience, I haven't had any kind of experience like that so far within even in the station.
Okay.
So, so maybe we are lucky currently.
Hmm. True. Yeah, then you can also have like collaborative, marketing campaigns. So you have customer service, customers are talking about it, and then Twitter is always there, blogs, LinkedIn is very popular, YouTube, Flickr, Pinterest. So nowadays you have all of that, but also you have to see geographically what are the users actually using. So
Mhm.
what may be popular there may not be as popular in another geographic region. So that's why it's important to study the industry, the distribution of the marketplace, seeing the demographics and the psychographics. That even sometimes a simple, written advertising campaign or a marketing campaign can actually just demotivate the business credibility in attracting the new customers, or just telling them okay how things are going to be, or maybe you had a certain target of how many people are going to be part of the contest, but it didn't work that way. And then you have to find different practices on how to increase the rewards so that more affiliation for either visitor, customer, just increases.
Mhm.
I hope,
Understand.
yeah, I hope that helped you.
Yeah, yeah, it really does.
Okay, so anyone else would like to share their experience in terms of digital marketing or what they're using, either in IT, banking, because it's definitely very different.
Oh, well, for us in the bank, we use all forms of media
Mm-hmm.
to get our advertisements out.
Mm-hmm.
We normally go through social media, TVs, and radios for mass
Mm.
advertising. And then we do have specific content that are more targeted. So whenever we set out for mass advertising, we also well, part of the advertising is information and data farming,
Okay.
so that we're able to pinpoint which content is applicable to what sector, or which
Mm-hmm.
content is applicable to what kind of individual or profession. And then we go to tier two, where we do a more targeted approach by
Right.
sending them emails or sending them links to a microsite for more
Mm-hmm.
information, or for like loan applications. And then we take it we do individual campaigning afterwards. So
Mm-hmm.
there's like three tiers to the marketing strategy.
Right. But then so that you for, let's say for money management and stuff like that, they have websites, they have you can even have blogging. So do you have anything to do with that?
For when for most institutional products, we don't normally have blogs
Mm-hmm.
or any sort of third party advertisement. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what we because we're normally dealing with institutions and organizations when it comes to institutional
Okay.
products. What we do there is we would be holding mini campaigns for that specific organization, but this is more traditional rather than uh,
Mm-hmm.
marketing.
So it's like traditional. Then do you have TV commercials, and then do you have like celebrity endorsing the
Yes,
products? Yeah,
yes, yeah, we
because
do.
that's yeah is usually popular, right? Because you see a popular face. It could be a, I mean, someone. So according to you, when you have someone popular, who is usually the person? Is it someone from the sports field, someone from the entertainment, someone YouTuber, or
Oh,
someone?
it's a
Yeah,
mix. So
mix.
when we're targeting audience and mass,
Mm-hmm.
so maybe the general population, we would be going for celebrity endorsers. But when we're
Okay,
targeting more organizations or the more moneyed segment of the society,
right.
we would be using business people in front
Okay.
to endorse our products.
Yeah, because sometimes what happens is even celebrities, because of course they're popular. Nowadays, banks are using so many popular singers. They're using Korean singers, right?
That's
And
right.
they are even having them on the ATM cards. And the fan base is high, knowing that, and they don't mind having an ATM card with their favorite, band on it. I mean,
That's
for
right.
me, yeah. So for me, it's not very appealing. I mean, I don't want to see the band on like every day, every single day, but I think it's an experience, right? But
Yeah,
for the young people, they like that. So you have animation, you have Hello Kitty, you have all these. Hello Kitty was really popular in Bangkok. That there was a time that every ATM card had that, you know. So it
mm,
just depends on the popularity of certain animations. And then, okay, but sometimes you also have celebrity endorsements. I mean, they are so popular, but when they're endorsing a product, are they credible enough? Like, because I think the audience sometimes knows that, oh, this person, yeah, so nice to see, but they may or may not be using the product.
mm-hmm. I
Yeah,
agree with that one. But then when you're targeting a general audience,
right.
um, what does you would want to have an endorser that gets the most attention, uh,
Definitely.
right? So
Yeah,
when you have her or him in your fold and in your advertisement, you tend to get more attention to your 30-second advertisement. Uh,
exactly. So you're selling an experience, you're selling that face.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And then because
how do
in
you
that advertisement, you don't really know how long it takes to fill up an application form for a checking account, for example.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
It doesn't say there. It just says
mm-hmm.
that, oh, come on, you come on in to our bank. We'll make sure that your account with us is safe, etc., etc. All the good things,
Mm-hmm.
just to get them in. And then when you do targeted advertisement, you don't really have to advertise all the fiduciary products that the bank has. Just the common ones like a checking account or a savings account or ATM or credit card.
Right,
That's it,
right.
right? So it's more limited scope that you can fit into that 30-second spot.
yeah,
Definitely.
I have a
Which is
question.
good. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, how do you measure a successful campaign of your advertisement, for example, because you don't keep the log? Or how do you know if okay, you got a lot of new traffics or you got a lot of new
Mm.
customers? How do you know from which channel these guys from?
Oh, we do have we set up agreements with different TV stations for that one. For campaigns that are more digital in nature, we do keep logs with the microsites or with the advertisements that we
Mhm.
throw out, such that these are like counters within the cookies. Because
Mm-hmm.
as Bob mentioned a while ago, the cookies they're like your preference keepers. So
Yeah.
keep track of your preferences. So whenever we do SEO keyword matching, we we do make a count of that, and then for every successful one, it how we measure it depends on how we define our objectives at the beginning.
I see. So
Uh,
you kind of check the funnel of the traffic, and then right, using like Google Analytics or something like that to get
that's right. That's right.
insight. Right.
Yeah, you can use that. You can even use, that's a good question. I was actually going to ask you how you guys measure that, and he asked it. Very good. Anyways, you can use that. You can even use you can even measure through open rate system, like through click system. So how many clicks you get, and then you have you have a software that measures that. Okay, let's talk about a simple website. How many people are visiting the website. You can actually put an icon or this animation or this kind of program there that can actually tell you how many people are actually visited your website, and also from which country.
That's right.
So you have that, you have the conversion rate, then you have bounce rate. It just depends on how many companies. Of course, subscription also works. So if anybody is subscribing, then you know that, okay, these many people. But also there is a time where people just end up unsubscribing because they're just so, it just gets overwhelming with everything. Then you can also measure that, okay, how many people are just letting go.
That's right. Or whenever you, if you have a lot of marketing materials, but they're all talking about the same thing over and over, and there's
Right,
nothing new,
right.
it gets bland over time. So nobody would
Yes.
want to watch it anymore. Just skip it.
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes it gets very difficult because it becomes very overrated. And then to maintain that, like email marketing strategy or even adding value, because the interest of any consumer, consumers get bored very quickly. Many of them do. And some of them, they're okay, they're consistent depending on the demographics and depending on the type of what they're using. So it's very important to see how the company is going to benchmark their current strategy performance to more realistic ones. Does anyone have a dog there? I can hear someone. Am
No,
I right?
bro,
No?
it's my son trying to
Oh, it's
imitate. Sorry about that.
no, that's okay. I'm so sorry. I sounded like I was like, oh my God, so I don't want to say that. It just sounded
Oh,
like that. I'm
yeah.
so,
Well, he does make good impressions. He actually has a
oh,
very good impression of Pikachu from Pokemon.
okay. So he was just doing that, right?
Yeah, trying to get my attention.
Okay. No, that's okay. I was like, okay, I just feel like maybe someone has a pet. That's all right. Okay, so where are we? Yeah. If you see the slide, let me just go to the slide. I mean, whatever we're discussing is basically like in the slide, and you can see the current slide again, SWOT analysis. So when you're doing whether it's digital or traditional, SWOT analysis always works. And you guys are pros now in SWOT analysis, so you understand that you are going to see what are the strength, the weakness, and how whether it's a bank or whether it's a TV station, everybody, the way they have an email system, the open rate is going to be very, very different. So how many people are actually not subscribing, how many people just don't want it. And one way of actually calculating like the click through rate, so you can take that and you can think of the number of the click throughs divide by the messages delivered. Some people connect back, some people don't connect back at all, you know so it's a very simple way to process that. But of course, you also have, what about complaint rate? Anyone receive complaints like a spam, and they're just so tired of it that it can actually disrupt the flow of the marketing? Anyone face that?
Yeah, we did, but we do set that. We do kind of separate it from the campaign. So we have explicit instructions that if like, for lack of a better term, if our advertisement becomes too annoying, you can hit
Yeah.
unsubscribe, or if you want to file a complaint, you can call our trunk line or customer service, or
Mm-mm.
send us an email. So all of these are being tracked, but separate from from the actual engagement.
It's quite interesting, right? You create one, like, okay, you or anyone, but creates a campaign, but at the same time, you also have to create um, like a separate service that caters to customers' demands and
Yeah,
dissatisfaction, so that they know that it's like a give and take. So
yeah,
it's more like, okay, the customers will be like, yeah, okay, I'll just see the ad. If I don't like it, or it's too much, I can complain. So
yeah,
they kind of feel appreciated, but at the same time, they also know that whatever they're being given, there is a way to stop it. Because
yeah.
imagine if there was no stop button, if there was no way
Agree.
to like stop them, the video content campaign would just actually
Continue.
bombard. No, it will just go crazy, and
Yeah.
I think that will be like an online pandemic.
Yeah, yeah, agree. But more to the point, it's very important to us who advertise
Right.
because
Yes.
we want to make sure that we're continuously improving what we're doing.
Definitely.
And
Yeah.
that it is a very good medium where we can actually hear the voice of the people.
Yes. So then, do you do like anyone does podcast system? Podcast really works nowadays. So podcast, integrating it with marketing. So when you have like digital engagement through videos or podcasts, they actually like it. But
I
it depends on the type of product or service that you are actually initiating, or if it's like a social contribution, then it depends. Then a lot of people, they love vouchers. So if you have emotional videos or you have happy videos, so emotions really, emotions, storytelling, backstories, um, having inclusive of the consumers, make them actually be part of your successful advertising, whether it's a campaign or whether it's just you have something to say. You have got their attention, because humor, graphics, videos, and the change, depending on what, if it's not like monotone or just like monotonous every time, then
Yeah,
you definitely can have something for consumers to get engaged with you. So
yeah,
that is important.
I
And of
agree.
course, you have the live feeds of like financial blogs. You have people answering questions. That is also very important.
Yeah, but I guess more to the point of using like drama or comedy in line with your advertisement, it makes it
Hmm.
more more impactful when you serialize the advertisement. Like
Right.
there's one scene and then to be continued, so people will want to see the next advertisement while delivering the message that you want.
Mm-hmm. Sure. It's like, in Thailand, they have a lot of advertisements. They have so much of humor, whether it's even service. Sometimes you just like, seriously? It didn't even make sense. But people remember the advert. And not only that, they love emotions. So the storytelling, especially, let's say, the insurance company. So Thai Life insurance advert, if you guys have ever seen, you can go online. They have amazing stories, but they're actually advertising insurance, and they also tell you how you can get connected with them, how you can actually and why your life insurance or even health insurance, accident insurance, the coverage. And it's always like based on some inspiration of the real stories, that when you after you watch the advert, you just feel like, oh my god, emotions. And they actually got awards for that. So that's, you have to see how you connect with it. There is another one, like, okay, for the TV, for example, anybody has ever seen The Office, the old series, The Office? Have you
No.
guys heard of it? Okay, never mind. So there was, no, that's okay. So in the past, like when Office, for example, because it's very popular. So let's say, how does Netflix actually advertise something that was very popular once upon a time? And you'll see that whenever you log into Netflix, there you're going to see the advertisements of the new shows, but at the same time, they will also show the popular ones. So they have different ranges. And then they share the trailers on different new shows, multiple other social networking sites that makes it. And one of the very popular ones is YouTube. So that way you can actually see, you can even subscribe, and they have a direct link to the Netflix. So basically people will just know that okay, how they're supposed to run, or you do the Facebook in-stream video ads to relevant, I mean relevant audience based on the age group, you know. Any questions? Anyone has any questions?
Good for now, Bhavna. Thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to comment about that Netflix one because yeah, they keep track of our history, they keep track of our interest, right? So they
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, they do. So you have to clear your history, or it depends what, or it depends what you're actually, you know, finding or looking and all that, you know.
Yeah.
But like, see, for China, there's so many things that are banned. So people are using another way. People are actually advertising to get into different and penetrating to different markets with advertisements. People are using VPN system.
Yeah.
And the VPNs, there are people who are traveling around and they want to know more, and that's how they're getting connected. So the VPN system works. Also, you have like, okay, because everything is digital, we might forget the traditional market. So it's like you have a balance of both. VPN systems. Anybody using that? Like
We
instead of
lost,
using digital, anything offline like print,
we lost you for the
brochures, huh?
we lost you for 5 seconds.
Oh, I was asking that, you know, we're using a lot, we're saying something about online and e-commerce. So has there like what kind of non e-commerce like mediums do you use? What kind of experience do you use that may not be online, like anything to do offline, for example, something that is not digital, you know? But
Print,
do you use any traditional ways?
yeah, printed media, the pamphlets that we distribute,
Brochures, yes.
yeah, brochures that we distribute through our branches, because we do get visitors to our branches that are not necessarily connected. So that's also one way of, information dissemination.
Yeah.
Okay.
More promotion also still works right now. Like you
Okay,
can
so
do
so do you still see that there are people they react more when it's like traditional?
yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah. Well, it kind of it's in the demographic. So normally the ones who are more likely to get the pamphlets from our branch offices
Hmm.
are the old
Okay.
guys.
Um, Miss Bhavna,
Yeah.
the case in the Maldives is different because before we did advertising on print media, but then
Right.
now everybody moved to the digital world. So we currently don't have any print media here. Only all the online news agencies are there, and the TV
Okay.
stations other than.
Oh, okay.
So I think we don't have the traditional way right now of advertising. That's
Mm-hmm.
I think people don't like it now and wants to get more of the latest technologies that we are evolving into it, right?
So you can see that the personality and the lifestyle has changed dramatically. So basically, and it maybe it's also because it can be sustainable if it's online, but at the same time, it just gets everyone glued on the digital way to see how they're getting connected. But yes, from your experience, from what you have shared about Maldives, clearly it shows that people are changing their lifestyle, and they're changing their lifestyle digitally, or they have preferences, they have choice, you know. So they just don't want to anything that is uh, tangible. They just don't want that because they just don't want to carry it everywhere with them. They might end up maybe
Yes,
leaving
exactly.
it somewhere. So they just know that if everything is online, they can strategize, or they can just have their apps put in order system, and they can just use it that way. Moving to like an example, like for instance, like digital banking, consumer survey, right? Because based from the feedback from consumer survey also, you can also change the behavior of the advertising campaign, for instance. And now everything is becoming you have the newness of the digital way of doing business. You have omni digital. So you have digital, but you also have the traditional thing where you can use your mobile PCs, tablets, and then you can avoid physical channels. So basically you can get a lot of things done that way as well. So when consumers are getting connected with that kind of approach system, you advertise also digitally very differently. Okay. Any other experience that anyone would like to share from your home country or from your job, like IT or anything like that? So far, the experiences you guys are sharing pretty interesting. So you have different generations, right? Different demographics. So you have the generation X, Y, and of course, soon we are like looking at the alpha kids, and the way they're using their internet is very different. Kids are using the internet in such a way that so much is being the way things are being advertised for them through that is actually working.
Actually, that's true. They consume a lot more of online content, but it also gives them, it also trains them to have shorter attention spans.
Yes, yes. That's why you have a lot of students who are getting having ADHD issues. They are also having like attention issues. They get anxiety and everything. So that's why it's very important to see that when we say digital, how fast, how much everything is going to be just moved to digital, because sooner or later the eye strain or the memory, because if you're being bombarded with so much of information online, how much are you going to be able to filter? How much are you able going to retain the information? That's also very important. And when you're chatting online, you're actually basically chatting not with so many real people. It's more like chatbots, right? So if
Mhm.
you're going to have chatbots and you're going to ask them for guides or help, then they are the ones who are going to be the ones who are talking to. So there's not active communication, it's more like passive.
Oh, yeah. Well, although recent advancement in technologies with the use of
Mm-hmm.
chatbots and AI
Yes.
kind of helps a little bit bridge the gap, because even with the millennial generation, their
Right.
attention spans are short, and
Mm-hmm.
their patience are even shorter. So what we do in the bank is we want to make sure that whenever our chatbots are configured in a way that whenever they ask a question,
Mm-hmm.
we should be able to throw in an answer within
Mm-hmm.
5 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, it's gonna be too long, and they would lose interest altogether.
Okay, so you have a 5 second kind of rule for them to get a feedback or information. Like so the basically it's like a transaction of information, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm. That's good. So when you see about email integration, so basically email marketing is really popular, and I think it's going to be there for a while because it helps the businesses segment their audience accordingly. So you have that, but social media is ruling, obviously, and you guys know that. So when it comes to that, when it comes to Google Analytics, when it comes to how to measure, every country, every industry will have their own software programs to initiate to see how they can measure that. But to more than that is about studying your consumers. So studying the demographics, the psychology, the preference, getting feedback, personality, what they like, what they don't like, and based on that, campaigns are being created. Banks never really focus so much on insurance. They never really focus so much on creative ATM cards, but they have that now. And a simple debit card was not allowed to be used online. If you're using online shopping, it has to be credit. But now the debit, you can use it as a credit. You have a chip system, so it has been like carried away for a long time to make it like more sophisticated, insightful, as well as easier to connect with your consumers, but vice versa, organizations also are able to retrieve the customer up to date, data, so they can have a synchronized data accordingly. At the same time, make it like a mobile friendly system. So that's how the businesses are actually enhancing their ways right now. I hope the session kind of is helping everybody.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so
Yes.
I was thinking of like summing up for this session, for this module, and then what we can do is, after 5 minutes, 5 6 minutes, we can come back again if anyone wants to get coffee, anybody wants to have a break, wash your face, you know, or you can go back and connect with your kid, anything, whatever you feel like. Let me just come back in
Yep.
5 minutes again.
Okay.
Sure, sure.
Okay? Yeah? Okay. All right. Hello, guys. Are you guys ready?
Yes, we're back.
Okay.
Yes.
Can you guys see this? See the slide?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I like this topic. It's pretty interesting. Innovation and R&D. It's something like it can just you can just talk for hours. There are just like so many books on this, and there's so much to learn from this because you have innovation strategies, you have innovation expenditures, and you name it. Have you guys heard of Simon Sinek?
Yes.
He talks so much about innovation, about motivation, and how. So, what do you like? Okay, since you've heard about him, what do you think that he likes to talk about? What is the inspiration?
I think it derives more of his thought from
The TED
uh
Talks. Yeah.
yeah from I don't know. I think his inspiration was the lack of empathy in today's leaders, and that they're
Exactly. Okay, so the thing is that when we talk about innovation and when we talk about R&D and the process and identifying opportunities, do you think that along this whole process, you also need EQ and you need to understand that how things are actually going to be processed? And since you guys have this slide, maybe in your private time, you can watch this video to understand the art of innovation and
We don't,
creativity, huh?
but we don't see the slides actually. Not yet uploaded, I guess.
What do you mean?
And in our portal, the slides for innovation and R&D is not yet uploaded. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. But then can you see it now, like when I'm showing it to you?
Yes, yes, I can see your presentation, but not in our portal.
Okay, okay. So then I'll just try my best to explain to you as much so that, by the time it comes, you actually have like you're resourceful. Okay. Going back to that, why is innovation very important? Simple. What are the parameters of innovation and why is innovation important?
Well, uh, the technology keep changing over the time, like
Mm-hmm.
features. You cannot if you can't keep up with the new things in the future. Not only in the technology, probably some methodologies or everything. What
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot keep up with that, and you cannot keep innovate your things, your ideas, to go ahead, or probably just to follow the trend. Then you probably left behind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sometimes it can also be chaotic because of the fast changing competitive environment. So, research and development cannot be like overestimated because of the changes. And then you have to see the functions and the high tech, like every industry are going to use different kind of improvement for any kind of software that actually is important for them, you know. And when it comes to semiconductors, for example, high tech industries, they would either use robotic fields, they will use microcomputer, you have chips, and to monitor these kind of stuff. And talking about the newness right now, there are a lot of robotic trade shows. What is your opinion about those things? Anybody believe in robotics to have robotics in the hospitals, robotics in instead of people at the hotels, at the
Yeah, well,
restaurants as receptionists?
I
I
think
think
once
yeah.
they
Go,
reach
go
an
ahead, bro.
advancement, something at some point they can replace because human made mistakes, right? Sometimes robot don't, right? Once they got into that level, they definitely can replace.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
more to Ronald's point, I think there are applications where robotics will do fine, and are essential in fact. But
Mm-hmm.
there are also cases where they won't be able to provide the same level of maturity and
Mm-hmm.
information that a human can.
Right. Yeah, because
Um,
it's there is yes.
yes, I agree with because of course it might be less expensive than having staff and giving them salary monthly, but
Mm-hmm.
they might don't have the human mind, and it may does not work like that
Mm-hmm.
as a human mind.
Yes, because we as humans we are the ones who's innovating, we are the ones who are trying to create this innovation strategy, and then we are creating some failures to execute the human touch, and it's
True.
very important to maintain that. Everything sounds very exciting to just talk about, okay, how much investment, manage time, manage money, but at the end of the day, what are we doing? Because if this is going to continue at a very fast pace level, then it's going to end up disrupting the human and the social connection, the social innovation. Like
Agree.
think about the management levels, right? I mean, marketing comes, but marketing comes streams through the management, through the organization. So you have organizational behavior, tons of money are spent on R&D, whether it is automobiles, whether it's cosmetics, you have labs. Things are always being created. We just don't know exactly where and how. Now, simple things like Hitachi. You guys know what is Hitachi? The brand Hitachi.
Yep.
Yes.
So let's say the role of R&D in organization for Hitachi. How much money do you think they actually spend? Because what does Hitachi actually do? So they have their power infrastructure, then they have the construction, then they have TV, they have automation, they have health group. So it's not only one kind of information or one kind of service or product that they are trying to spend money. Their collaborative creation with consumers are just everywhere, because they're just trying to encompass so much of funds so that they can provide food, water, transportation system, security for their consumers, telling the consumers that this is what they want. However, on the other side, the people who are actually creating that are also people. So
True.
what is your views on these things? I mean, you guys are working in the company, right? So sometimes do you think that you face ethical dilemmas?
That's actually true. Oh, well, my opinion about this one, and more largely about innovation, Bob, is in the past
Mm,
we're more focused on technological advancements or process
mm-hmm.
advancement. But
Right.
nowadays, and I think more and more companies are moving into this direction, is that we put more emphasis on the emotions and the
Hmm.
behaviors because that is what drives the sale. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so so from a bank's perspective, one of the main reasons why we're innovating in terms of our online banking presence and all the other
Mm-hmm.
fiduciary instruments is because we empathize with the mass. Like
Mm-hmm.
for instance, this pandemic that we have,
Mm-hmm.
we're all the more beefing up our online banking application and systems because
Mm-hmm.
we understand that people are not really in the position to go out and get themselves infected by the virus while having to having the necessary having that necessity to go to the bank and do some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why we're trying to bring the bank in to the people rather than the people to the bank.
Definitely. So it's more like push or pull strategy.
Yeah, well, we're more of a push the bank to the people right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because at this point, this is what they need to do, right? Because otherwise, this whole thing is just going to demotivate the entire model and the businesses that they have been working. And even if they have, let's say they have a successful online product, or they have a product that they want to, bring to the consumers, their market integration is just going to be negatively influenced because of this whole pandemic. So how do you create this comfortable strategy and integrate the quality to them so that the quantification of this doesn't actually affect the marketing, so that the IT part is also like whatever has been worked, the completeness can actually stimulate it to an extent that they can actually be part of the service and not like leave the service. So
Agree.
those things are also important to see. And then what I was going to ask you guys is, during this time, because of this whole IT and everything, have you seen any kind of like a level of no subscription, slow process of engagement, and the competitive environment, like whether it was online, suddenly they just feel demotivated? Because see, when you're out of the house the whole day, coming back or using your phone had a different feeling, right? But now when you're constantly online, how does that affect the economic structure or the personality of consumers engaging in this change? Because thinking and acting critically is, in terms of marketing, is it growing, is it disrupting it, is it, do they have a pause, or what is it? Think, interesting question.
Well, yeah, I think the behavior, the time spent on the uh, mobile, for example, at this time is probably more than before, right? So people
Mm-hmm.
are at it, and we I think from the marketing perspective, they need to see probably analyze the behavior of people pre and post pre and during this pandemic, how the behavior change, and how the marketing team can uh, how to say how the marketing can cope with that, how
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
uh,
agree with
reach
Ronald's
the
point.
people, yeah.
We are spending more time online and on our
Mm-hmm.
devices like that it's actually replacing our lives, uh, to a point. But
Mm-hmm.
and then what is contradicting us, the more we spend on our devices, the more we
Mm-hmm.
expect emotion out of those devices.
Mm-hmm.
In which case, the marketing strategy changes and the technology changes because it needs to cater to those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course, definitely. Because it's like, when it comes to like entertainment, or when it comes to creating that emotion, it is going to have different tactics of interest, right? So, do you think that has it become more like more emotional, or it is trying to like, create that orientation for them to still be connected to them?
I think to some extent it has, but it's largely has not because it's really hard
Mm-hmm.
to translate your emotion into technology, right? Um,
Right.
but at the very least, what I'm seeing is that the responsiveness that we're gaining in terms of technology and the responsiveness that our responsiveness towards our customers
Mm-hmm.
are rapidly changing and progressing to a
Mm-hmm.
point where we're actually matching expectations already.
Oh,
And
that's
this
good.
one and that one and this one is actually spurring out a better emotion, I guess. I wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
say better, that's the wrong adjective, but a more uh, maybe relief emotion, more positive emotion from our
Mm-hmm.
customers.
Okay. You guys are aware of the black box model?
Not really.
Okay, so looking
What
at the
I
slide, huh?
Yeah, what I understand about black box is it's outside. We are
Yeah,
looking inside.
From,
It
from an airplane, maybe.
Yeah.
no, not for marketing. Okay, so I'm just gonna stick to. I'll just put the slide here. Okay, so then at least it'll be easier to understand. Well, the black box model is very important. It's a very common marketing theory used for consumer behavior. So when you're understanding, you're trying to understand the human mind. The human mind is basically the black box. So if your marketers are actually ignoring that black box, then of course you're not going to have favorable results. But to have favorable results, then you have to discover what one should do to kind of create that stimulus. So that's why they call this a black box model. So it's very popular and people don't really say much about it. But when it comes to the incubation part, how you can actually connect with them and how things are like processed and understanding the predictability. So let's say, like you said, emotions, you kind of know that if this story or this emotion, 5 seconds, 10 seconds, 1 minute, doesn't matter. But if the incubation process, if it was very well crafted, I would say, it will create that stimulus. And the consumers are definitely going to want to connect with it because it demographically, it has instigated something that they want to take a next step. Then that can actually create a good economic development or a good business, interaction with the consumers. If not, then of course that could create issue because if you see here, you have the research and development, you have the manufacturing. So either you're pushing the technology to them, and then you have the black box. So when you have the black box, you're still understanding the human mind. But when you have marketing part, you also have research development because you're doing the SWOT, you're doing the porters, you're doing market research, and then also you're understanding the human mind, and then you're manufacturing accordingly. So this is what, let's say, Samsung does, right? Well, how do you think the Samsung research centers, how did they become so advanced? I mean, what are the products of Samsung, for instance? It's not only just mobile phones, right? What else do they have? TV?
Yeah,
Anything
refrigerator.
else? Yes, it's like this whole thing. So how do you think, how does Samsung actually tell? Because their data information or their research, R&D research, includes AI, data intelligence. They have robot. They are creating this next generation visual technology through marketing so that they can expand and make lifestyle and staying at home easier. I mean, we had television. What? How big was our television? They look like boxes. Today, how's the television? They're flat screen, and you can have so many things connected to the television, right? The LED screen.
Right.
So the efficiency based on all of this, we were so happy with 2G, and now we're moving to 5G. I was happy with 2G. I was like, okay, now we have 3G. I think I'll be most satisfied with 3G. Now we have this faster. It's just like the more want and the greed, and then now
Yeah.
you realize that okay, somewhere it has to stop because it is becoming quite flexible, and people need they need a reason to create and create that. They are making technology smarter than the consumers. And of course, consumers are also getting smarter how to navigate and how to understand those options, how to use it. Because, of course, you have all these marketing campaigns and they have various communication and content delivery that whether it's online, offline, how to use it. And you have YouTube. YouTube is fantastic to teach people, right? I mean, people enjoy doing vacuum cleaning by themselves. Now you have robotic vacuum cleaners. I remember meeting my student, and while I was teaching him, we had this circular robotic system just going round and round, and I'm just like, what the hell is this going on? I thought he was playing a game. Honestly, I did not know that was a new vacuum cleaner. I hadn't seen it as yet. And then
Mhm.
when I saw and I asked, I was like, Jesus Christ, you cannot broom your house yourself, and they just do it anytime. It's based on convenience, right?
Right, right. Actually, you just reminded me, Bob, now of a tool or a guide that we use whenever we plan for marketing campaigns.
Mm-hmm.
And then it is the Maslow's hierarchy of needs.
Yes, yes, they have that. So you do that. So you do the physiological, and the top will be the
Like
what would the
I
Yeah.
forgot, but it's transcendence. It's more
Yes.
your what
They
legacy
they
you're.
a- they basically added that later, right? The transcendence, because it's more like you can't just be like, okay, so after self-esteem, you have promotion, you feel good about yourself, but then no, after that, you need to feel transcended. You need to feel that they're meaningful purpose. So
That's
now
right.
what people are doing is, for organizations to create that priorities of the want of that product or service, they make you feel that no, you want this, and this is going to give you purpose.
Yeah,
So yeah, so everything is based on that. So they create this identity, this entity, and they just merge it together, and they make people feel that okay, if you have this, your life is going to get better. Without this, something is definitely missing.
agree.
Yeah,
Like from a bank's perspective,
yeah.
whenever we when we're when we're targeting young people, we
Mm-hmm.
normally take it from the perception of physical need.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you're gonna target those that are in the middle age, like 40 and above, age range, you're
Mm-hmm.
looking for targeted advertisements that are more protection and insurance kind of deals.
Mm-hmm.
But when you are in the or sorry, no, not insurance, but more um, how to save and how to earn more. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and then when you reach the retiring age, that is protection and insurance. So
Okay.
I guess this is yeah, as I've said a while ago, it's more when you look at the hierarchy of needs from Maslow,
Mm.
it's very detailed. It has been written for a long time, but still
Yeah.
it still applies.
Yes, he did a great job. Of course, you have so many theories, right? You have theory X, theory Y, you have Maslow. Of course, you have scientific and the administrative and more like how people can feel. Then you have reward system, you have incentives. So I think this did not only apply to just the staff, but also for consumers, because consumers actually enjoy performance. I mean, if you tell them you did a great job and they played a game and you add gamification, they like it. They just felt like okay, they feel the need that they want something, they got something out of it,
Mhm.
and then that's how the retail banking innovation is happening, because they make them part of their system, and they have all these innovative competitions around, and they're like whether it's interest rates or whether you're just being part of it. If you do this, then we will give you some. You can have some point system, or maybe free something freebies, like merchandise. So I think it actually helps. In okay, since we're talking about banks, what are the incentives through marketing campaigns you offer?
Oh,
Like, yeah.
sometimes we do have like deals on automobile loans, like
Mm-hmm.
for a specific period of time when you apply and get approved with our bank for an auto loan, you get
Mm-hmm.
lower interest rates.
Okay.
Otherwise, if you applied any other time, but this time, you would have a slightly higher.
Right.
And sometimes when you apply during this campaign period, we give more, and with our participating dealers, auto dealers,
Mm-hmm.
tend to give you more freebies when you purchase a car through an auto.
Right.
Here in Indonesia, they give a lot of freebies, not freebies, actually cashback if you're like placing a deposit or
That's
uh,
right. Yeah.
yeah, applying for credit card. Right? Yeah,
Like, who doesn't want the money, right? So
yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
so look, yeah.
that's digital money. You don't really
Money
touch
is money, right?
yeah.
It's like, how, for example, how 7-Eleven does. Like for Thailand, like, you buy the product. I mean, even you got your change, they still give you these stamp like coupons, right? But they're not coupons. They're like they just look like little stamps, and they're actually money. They give you 2 baht back, 3 baht back, and of course they can't give you physical coins because you'll just be wondering like why am I receiving that? But then when you receive these stickers, and there you can actually next time when you go back to them, you can actually use that as a cash for to
Like
actually
points,
like what?
like points, and then you
Yes,
can use
yes.
them as
But this is
currency.
actually, but this is actual money because,
Oh,
like, just say that you receive stamps, stamps with cartoon, and then
Mhm.
you have one B or imprinted on it, which means you paid, let's say you paid 50 baht for something for food or sandwiches, but then in return you did and you gave 100 baht. You got your change, you got your receipt with 3 stamps. That means you got 3 baht back. They are actually giving you cash return.
like a
So
rebate.
yes. So what happens is, but it's not completed it's rebate, but they just use money, and of course they have to use something like paper-like, right?
Mhm.
And the next time when you go, you can use that as money.
That means when you repeat the order or you visit that place again, you can pay with that.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. That means if they gave you three, if you got five, that means you got 5 baht. I mean,
Yeah.
every time you look at that stamp, you just be like, I'm calling it a stamp because it looks like one. But and they have different colors, they have different animations, they have different, like, they make it kind of pretty and sometimes glittery. So what happens is that consumers will be like, I have to go back there because I want to use it. Sometimes you just feel like, okay, I have nothing to do with 7-Eleven, so you just give it to somebody else. But I know a lot of people who love to collect it, and they've actually managed to get 100, by the time they finish they get 100 baht, and they actually just use all of that to just buy their whatever they feel like buying.
Yeah.
So you have those consumers as well.
So
Yeah,
that means a psychological influence, I guess, right?
yeah. Actually, we have that as a it's not a promotion for with our bank because it's an ongoing program.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever you deposit something into your account and make it, for you have to maintain a certain amount on your bank account, and then you get points out of it. For
Mm-hmm.
every month that you maintain that value in your account, you get points out of it, and then you can exchange it for whatever with our partner stores, or you can use it as currency with our partner stores.
Hmm. Oh, that's good. Of course. So, okay, that's nice. Then I guess this way will help them, like, okay, digitally, it we can distribute, both bank and time for consumers, but they also have some kind of, return, and, they're getting something.
Yeah, like it's an incentive for saving.
Right. But you know what, even talking about that, this is also banks are also doing very much for the agricultural sector, right? Because they know that the farming methods and the crop system, so they're actually creating a different agricultural banking, maybe application or service, and they also advertise accordingly, they market accordingly, and they want to help in like crop rotation, planting, or even giving money for the farmers for their startups, so that at least they would know how to have a digital interaction and marketing, because they have a lot of digital apps now for farming, for agriculture as well.
I agree. Although it's not as prevalent here in the Philippines yet, but
Yeah.
we're getting there.
Mm. Yeah, in Thailand they already started it, but it's definitely not prevalent and not that popular, because I think the farmers, they also need to educate. They need to be more awareness on how they can actually do that, because you're looking at the supply side, then you're looking at the demand side. You need to understand the language, the
Yeah,
navigation, and there are so many people who are, while they're getting more educated, they don't actually want to go back to being a farmer. But if you have the identification as a farmer who can use these apps, and they can actually fulfill their market driven or their goals through this, then banks are actually creating a certain advertising campaign, pricing distribution, and trying to be, they're not being very very entrepreneurial by making it, you know, too hard to get. Okay, you're, if you do this, is you're gonna be cool, but they're just trying to be less. They're trying to be simple, but they're making sure that they are trying to bridge the gap between marketing and R&D so that they can actually get um, that demographic or geographically as well. You know.
Yeah, but that actually poses, oh well, that is actually the cause of hesitation from the bank's perspective, because that's a lot of risk.
Right.
When you look at it, the payback period, if you,
Mm,
because the only thing that I can think of right now from a
mm-hmm.
agriculture agri support perspective is micro and small and medium size enterprise loans for them, or
Mm,
specific loans for agriculture, but the payback period is too long,
okay.
and it will drive interest rates up, and that's not going to be good for both farmers and bank.
Right,
So
right.
we're still trying to balance it. That's why there's
Yeah,
no agreement right now.
because based on the NPV value and based on the years of like calculation and interest, I mean, you have to also see their returns and how much they're making money. And then it comes back, right? You're something you're marketing a service. Now they're using it. And if it's a bank and you know they have different incentive programs, then it depends on the demographic as well. That do they have that kind of cash flow to be able to distinguish whether they're able to provide what they are taking back, you know?
Hmm.
And yeah, the risk is high, definitely.
Agreed. That's why they're hands off for the meantime.
Ah, okay, okay. So they're not focusing so much on that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about any other industry? What about the TV industry, for example, looking at the entertainment? How different is that, like, you know, when it comes to communication and R&D? And, you know, we are looking at the marketing side, but how much money goes and how much investment goes just in researching so that you can have marketing efficiently and effective to use the right kind of tools because you're trying to get through the myth, right? Like, for example, the myth would be that, oh, entertainment is very popular and you know you can communicate anything, you can hire a celebrity, but sometimes you need to get a celebrity that can actually connect with the brand partners, connect with 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 the audience, like you said earlier. Because if someone doesn't really have that face or that connection with the audience, they cannot actually create what the brand is trying to, you know, show, portray. Then they cannot provide a meaningful like result, right, for the brand story.
Normally we use to market whenever we are creating a program, and if the
Hmm.
program we have to spend a lot of money on that, the
Mm-hmm.
quality of the program is really high, then we find a very famous celebrity presenter to present that program. So normally we actually sell the face of the presenter to all
Mm.
the sponsors. So normally this presenter will be very reputable person in the community. Everybody knows this person. So all the sponsors will be very impressed even at the first sight of our product.
Mm-hmm. And then when you have the contract system and when they are using, so usually they have every country has a different way of seeing a different contract system for that. So let's say the celebrity receives the money for the marketing, but then once the campaign time, the duration is over, and if you're still running the same kind of campaigns, the celebrity still makes money. Is that the similar thing over there as well?
Yes, we normally run the campaign for throughout the season because even in our station there will be programs for seasons. Like one season will be around for 3 months, not
Mm-hmm.
longer than 3 months, because we
Mm-hmm.
think that people might get bored out of it. So it
Right,
will be
right.
like 3 months, and we will continue our promotion that. And sometimes we used to promote these kind of products and sell our program using comedians
Yeah,
using different video clips
right.
to promote on social media. And sometimes we present him as a comedian character in the show, like for
Mm.
5 or 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, humor really works, right? To help them, create the
Yes.
PR teams and even the consumers, they like it because they feel like, okay, they can connect. So basically, technology has definitely changed the way entertainment industry has worked on daily basis. So you have brands, you have publishers. We cannot forget the department stores, the superstores, the super centers, and even simple like express, supermarkets. They have definitely used. So even entertainment, they connect with all these retail businesses because they know that they have to analyze the audience and performance, and they know that the consumers will be there. So phone only is not enough. It has to be everywhere where the commute. So transportation, you have your BTS, you have your MRT, you have, mobile advertising. So you're using transportation, you have billboards. It's like it just goes on, right?
Yes, right.
Okay, so does anyone have any question? So far, all good?
Yep.
Okay.
All
All
good.
right. When it comes to marketing, the innovation process is slightly different. When it comes to management, when it comes to other subjects, then of course the innovation process would be a bit different. So the thing is, when it comes to marketing, then of course you have various research methods, and then you have to incubate, see the idea, and then have a test marketing to see if it worked. Sometimes things can actually backfire, and it doesn't work. But so far right now, with the way the businesses are going, I think it's not even like, even the consumers were once thought may not have been potential to even see or to view or to connect, they are actually becoming part of it because they are seeing a linkage. They're seeing that, okay, this is the only way to connect. So they are actually discussing, they're coming online, they are trying to use more of these things. So I think organizations are doing a fantastic job in a way, not to just just let the pandemic conquer them, but they're developing a lot of things, and staff, employees are actually working very hard to create this state of art technique so that they can actually create the system as a problem solving situation where you don't see, there is a problem, but people are working more hours. They're creating all these kind of services so that they can actually push and make sure they can actually create and maintain a certain relationship with their consumers. I'm sure you guys must be like working much more hours than compared to what it was. Have you seen any reaction? Like, how do you feel? Like, how are their days going sometimes?
Long.
And then, okay.
Sometimes you don't realize that it's already night, for example. Like, seems like you're just working whole day in front of your laptop, and then how it's already 6 or already 7.
Mm.
You don't even realize that.
So how, okay, so what do you do? Like once you that all happens, what do you do to like, pause and then come back to it? Because, it kind of like can actually influence your attitude and your motivation in way to work.
Mhm.
Does it kind of have any change on that?
Yeah.
Uh, in terms of work, I don't think so. I believe that the productivity is increasing
Okay.
compared to before, yeah, because you work longer hour, and then you don't really need to commute to work, because
Right.
here in Indonesia is really really bad actually. You can spend
Mm.
like 2 3 hours on the street.
That's true.
Uh, you mean for traffic, because of the
Yeah.
traffic, right?
The traffic.
Yeah. But the situation of the pandemic, like I heard that the cases are very high, like 3,000 right now. So I
Yeah.
think it's also like pushing the organization to make sure they're using their internal and external information in such a way so that they are not going to exploit the business, but they're trying to withhold as much as they can. And they're already losing a percent of, like, a lot of percent of market share. So they're just saying, okay, what they can do to make sure that the strategic alliances and the sponsors, or the entire supply chain that is creating value, or even quality assurance, is not being diminished or compromised when it comes to this, right?
True.
I think this whole thing has actually, like, socio-culturally, has actually developed in such a way that human beings are seeing a whole different system, to understand how things are actually integrated. Okay, so anyone else would like to share their experience? Ishara, Nalaka, hmm? Everyone okay? Gregory, John, Nilumini. Like, if you have questions, feel free to ask. If you want to share something, you're more welcome. Because we're gonna end, like, soon, right? So it'll be nice that for me to just go through, like, everything that you can, and how to identify the opportunities in your, and help you, um, kind of like encourage you, or probably give you ideas. I'm sure the work that you guys are doing on daily basis, you are already facing innovation. You're already facing diversification of how to adapt. But at the same time, when you have discussions and sharing, it kind of just gives you that idea, the illumination. Okay, maybe this might work. Okay, so I'm going to continue. Um, How do you think that innovation in a wider prospect for strategic marketing, just to make sure that they are not going to exploit society's perception, should they slow down, or they are going in a good rate?
Well, I believe they are going they're going right to the what the people expect at the moment, right? Because,
Hmm.
they if they are, let's say they are too advanced,
Mm-hmm.
people won't realize it actually. People will follow for me. My in my opinion, people will follow that instead of they need to slow down.
Okay. So
Yeah,
that means people, they actually, sometimes consumers don't know what they want, you mean? And they like that.
yeah,
So then they can create, like, they will have their own business plan, they understand their industry, and they can just go with the flow, so that they can have this openness with science and technology,
yeah,
and create such business circles in such a way that the stakeholders are actually being, I wouldn't say united, but you have a common flow, and then all the marketing campaigns, digital, online, offline, can accommodate and
yeah,
promote, like, more like capitalism, or provide a framework that can actually, keep the cash flow.
yeah.
Excuse me. Right?
Yeah, sometimes that is what define the society, not the society define uh, the marketing.
Excuse me. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's true, right? Because the perception keeps changing, and then today they didn't want this, and then tomorrow they want that.
yeah, but that takes a lot of research as well, right? I mean, they also like they have done their research. They have done their interview of, for example, surveying. There are a lot of surveys about products or something like that, asking people what can they improve to satisfy the customer, or what they can improve to get their product uh, being acknowledged by more people, right?
Mm-mm.
They get insight from the customers as well.
Yeah, so you have to understand the public nature of their knowledge, right? Because
Yeah,
how much, whatever the companies are innovating, or whatever advertising, or whatever marketing they're using, this is coming from the other side. Then you have the public. Then, do you think the role of the government influences any of this, distribution of how ideas are generated through marketing campaigns?
Well, sometimes I think, for example, Indonesia,
Mm-hmm.
uh, there are a lot of censorships, for example, right?
Okay.
So they
So
can
then you have to actually
be,
change the way things are being advertised, or
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because otherwise, the communication system can be actually, disrupted by the legal
Sometimes,
formation.
sometimes also the social politic uh,
Mm.
Yeah.
condition here, for example, like the racism or religion sensitivity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But actually,
So do
for the
you,
Philippines,
yeah.
especially in terms of religion, because we're a predominantly Christian country. So
Mm-hmm.
uh, morality is kind of high up there in terms of what you need to be, what you need to, match up with in terms of content.
Okay, so morality and ethics.
Hmm.
Um, can you give me an example of what was done and what is more like moral like that?
I mean, when I I don't remember as a particular one, but I have not seen an advertisement here in the Philippines that are um, obnoxious in nature,
Mm, mm, mm.
or or advertisements that just don't, that plainly don't make sense.
Right.
That are, something similar. If you have watched some of the advertisements that they show in Japan,
Mm-hmm.
that are, yeah, they're funny, but that don't really make sense. You won't find
Right.
any of those here in the Philippines.
So something has to make sense. So even the humor, the consumer behavior, for
Yeah.
them to have the product or service interaction or feel connected, the marketing has to make sense for them to have this trigger or this real time connection. Otherwise, they will just disconnect. You mean?
Yes, because there's different ways of interpreting things, but the Philippine public is more likely to interpret it from a religious point of view.
Mm-mm-mm. Okay.
That's
So
why you need to be careful about the content.
Okay, so now that is a lot of pressure because that sometimes can actually disrupt the way the video production and the facilitation, right, of
Yes,
how things are.
well, especially the production, because is if you have the late knowledge of things, you will
Hmm.
have spent something that you will for something that you will not use.
Right. Then do you have to like redo the whole thing again?
Yeah,
Because
there
then you change
are.
the video, the image, the content so that it can interest the consumer again,
Yeah,
right?
including the actors. So everything.
Wow, that is something. So that's why the research, the understanding of this whole digital world, because something that can tick you can also, you know, tick you off, and something that can just trigger this happy moment. It can accumulate good stimulation and positive feedback. Then of course you have done the right thing by targeting the right. I mean, there's never nothing right of how much you can actually attract, but the more the people, the more the merrier, right? So then you have a respect gain from a broader audience, so that it can generate and provide more clients, and you can kind of rely on them that next time when you're going to be doing something, they can trust you. They know that the acquisition of how things are being created from your side is going to make sense.
Right, right. Agree.
Okay. Looking at the slide again, you will see that, of course, they have what we've been discussing. So, SWOT and PESTO is very common, and product in improvements and repositioning. Have you guys heard of the BCG Matrix, Boston Consulting Group?
Mm,
not the metrics. I know the BCG.
yeah.
Okay, so BCG stands for the Boston Consulting Group, and the BCG Matrix is a very popular method of analyzing product positioning. So when you are actually doing advertising or you're doing marketing, it is very important and relevant for the organizations to understand that where the product and service is in the market. So is it a star? Is it a growth? Is it does it have is it a cash cow? Cash cow means it's milking a lot of money. Is it is it a question mark? Question mark means that sales are low, more marketing is needed, or does it become a dog? Okay, you guys can look it up, and this the BCG matrix is a very popular matrix that is applied in many organizations to understand the positioning of a product or service, and then based on the positioning and based on the matrix, then whether it is like low market share, high market share, and then how the advertising campaign can actually change accordingly, because they need to see that how much is it influencing the brand, and which part of it that is the content needs more attention, what it doesn't need attention on. So it's called the BCG matrix. Okay, that way you have so many ways to analyze and to improve and everything, but these are some of the basics, some of the few basic ones that you can even use it for the products or the services that you guys are using. um, do you know what is innovation diffusion? Like what you have actually created becomes so popular that it diffuses, it defines character and action, and people want to accept it, people want to use it, people want to follow it, people think that using that product or that service actually has okay meaning, but it kind of refers to the consumers embracing to change. That means they're not resistant now, but they want to accept it. They're driven by that change. Anyone has any question?
None from me about that. Thank you.
Okay. So far, I think we're doing fantastic. So whatever we discussed today about online, pretty much, and there's always going to be so much to discuss about, digital advertising, and how companies or countries are kind of diminishing their traditional methods because they just feel like using a lot of paper, also environmentally. So you're creating innovative, eco-friendly, system so that consumers, but it's like also constant, like you have to have the consistency to be able to help the consumers, but at the same time organization, the staff needs to be updated, and they have to have this knowledge management, and they have to have that mindset of the willingness to learn and change, you know and diversify skills, because otherwise it's not going to be very easy to connect with the audience as well.
Yeah,
Yep,
agree.
agree.
Okay, so I'm thinking of wrapping up. If you have questions, you want to share anything, please let me know. Lisa, you okay? Is she there, Lisa?
Yes, Miss Pavna.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Was it helpful, whatever you were asking today?
Yeah, yeah, it is really helpful.
Okay. I hope you guys have a great evening, and whatever assignments you have any questions, you can connect with Miss Ta, and all the best. Okay, take care.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
which I
Bye.
believe we
Yes.
Thank you.
will
Oh,
have
or
Yeah, bye bye.
one.
Yes.
I think Lisa was asking a while ago about the assignment being releases. Has this been
Yes.
released already?
Yes, Ta.
Hi. Yes. What was the question? Sorry.
Has the assignment released yet?
I have to check on the LMS because
Because
another person
I couldn't
that.
find the assignment question on Bridge.
So that's not yet. Maybe tomorrow I will check and update everyone. Is that okay?
Yeah,
All right.
we
Okay.
will have
Yeah.
another class on this, but
Okay.
tomorrow.
So,
Our class would be on Thursday, so we'll be
Oh,
seeing each other on Thursday, right?
yes.
Yeah.
Another session is on Thursday on the 10th.
So
Okay.
for tomorrow and Wednesday, there's no session.
No, no.
All right. Okay.
Okay. Have a good night.
Okay.
All
Right.
right.
Good
Good
night.
morning from the Philippines.
Oh, good morning.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Miss Wagner.
Thanks.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Bye bye.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye.
Have a good night.
Good night.
Good